Hi, this will be me talking about what I did for my Terminids live stream, where I was trying to figure out like a quick, easy wash to do tyranids, or to do termagants specifically. The one on the left is it's based white with, and I'm apologizing because I'm gonna butcher this, carroburg crimson as like a wash over the skin, and then the purple carapace, and then I did yellow for the guns and eyes, like the little magazines and stuff. And then angrax earth shaded over the rest of it to add the darker, grimier look. And I thought it was okay, but I wanted to add some pink to the carroburg crimson just to figure out if that will help bring up the pinkness a little bit. But when I did do both of them, I thought, you know, this is super easy, super quick. I'm fine with that, but I still want that white to pop through. So on Thursday, the day, well, it would be last week, but that's besides the point. That Thursday, before stream, I decided during lunch, hey, I'm gonna come inside, make some lunch real quick, then I'm gonna mix up a batch of wash, kind of like my own homebrew kind of wash. And let's see, I've got all the paints that I used in front of me here. So now I used a lot of pro acrylic Monument Hobbies paint. There's a reason why I did that. I don't use pro acrylic a whole lot for certain things, but if I'm gonna use paint to mix, I'll use the paints that I don't use too often. So I used their magenta, their white, and their bold pyrite red. So it was mostly magenta and white, and I added a splash of red to get the desired color. And then afterwards, I dumped in a pretty good charge of airbrush thinner. Now, I know airbrush thinner is not the proper medium to use, but it's better than water, and it's the only thing I had on hand. And it turned out okay. So I was super happy with the way that turned out. I mean, it practically ran out of the little shaker bottle that I have. I mean, I didn't even have to squeeze it. It just started dumping it out. So it's going to be super liquidy. You want that consistency of almost water, but it just holds color. I mean, it's a wash is what it is. It'd be exactly like any other wash you use. So at first I tried doing it just in joints, and then I was like, you know what? I just want to make this super easy. I want to be able to slap it all over the whole thing and see how well it works. So that's what I started doing. And during the live stream, I did 10 of these. I did the wash for 10 of them in probably an hour. So that's one every 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes on a mini, basically. And there's some spots I missed. I'll admit that. Some of the interior spots, like on the insides of the arms, I did not get with the wash. That's fine. But I went back later and hit it with angrax, and it still turned out okay. So in a few seconds here, we're gonna make a cut, and it'll be any second now, because I take a break. So we are going to cut. Oh, we already did cut. Oh, I didn't even notice that. So I went ahead and started painting carapaces on the other two minis. Now I wanted to go with the regular purple, but do the carroburg crimson. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. The paints will be listed in the description below in case I can't pronounce any of these paints. So I wanted to make sure it got that like dark purple look. It was something that I always wanted in my minis, and in my first two Tyranid minis, that's what they look like. They've got a lot of white, a lot of pink, a lot of dark purple. I mean, that's just the way I wanted to make my minis. So I quickly go ahead, knock out this carapace, and then do the little top of the gun and the bottom of the gun. I think I did the bottom of the magazine too. So as you can see, I'm just quickly knocking it out. And I was thinking to myself, if this works, then I really wish I would have recorded me making that wash because I know the colors that I used. I don't know the ratios anymore. So one day, and where's the bottle at? Oh, where'd I set that? No, I have it here. Hold on a second. Oh, there it is. What is that, milliliters? I probably got like 17 milliliters of this stuff. And the stuff that I did put on that first top of that wet palette, that was good for all 10 minis. It doesn't take a lot to do them. So I went ahead, got this painted up, and I think I'm looking for paint at this time. Yeah, there you go. That's the consistency. That's the color and everything of that. Oh, I remember what I was doing now. I missed a spot, so I go back and get the oh no. Did I miss a spot? What are you doing past me? I don't remember this. I'm gonna apologize in advance in case you can hear any noises in the background. Oh, I was looking for the wraith bone to do the claws. So I already did my winged tyrannid prime as having like any of the claws, hoofs, that kind of stuff. That is a wraith bone color, kind of like the box art, because when I very first started painting, I painted 10 intercessors, my winged tyrannid prime, and then after that I painted a psychophage and Lieutenant Titus, and those were like the first things I painted. So I was still kind of wanting it to look a little bit like that. Now I use Monument Hobbies brushes, and this one was small enough because I had to get up under it that I could use the backside of the brush to pop it out, because this is a push fit mini. I don't usually super glue these down to the base until they're fully painted. I never base any of my minis except for accidentally, because I wanted to use some Slaughterbound in a practice game with a buddy. I accidentally glued them down. But other than that, I do not glue down my minis on base before getting them fully painted and getting the base done. So you can see here, I'm using the wraith bone for the teeth. Then I do the tongue red, and hoofs and claws will also be wraith bone. I will say, I have two brands that I really like for paint brushes. Monument Hobbies, they hold up very well. They're not terribly expensive. I am not sponsored by anyone, at least yet. And sadly to say, Games Workshop paintbrushes, Citadel. I use their base paintbrush a lot. I mean, that's what I used a lot of this. So if you ever see me sitting there with a white paintbrush in my hand, that's a Citadel. And if you ever see me with a blue paintbrush in my hand, that is a Monument Hobby one. Also, I do know somebody asked me about that wet palette that I do have. It is a store-bought one. I got it off of Amazon. Also not a plug. Oh gosh, I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this. Hold on, I got an idea. Let me find out. Go to the... So I had somebody ask this to me, and I couldn't remember what it was. So you know what? Instead of butchering it, I'll just put it in the description below, because it'd be a lot easier just to do it that way. So I'm touching up the stuff here, and I wanted to do, these ones had green eyes and green like magazines and green barrels, question mark, on the guns. They were super quick, easy. I was pretty shaky that day. I do remember being pretty shaky, so I don't know how I was able to do that steadiness. I bumped the camera by accident, so we'll skip this part till I get to the point where I can actually see properly. There you go. All right, so back to this. Let's see, I just painted the eyes. So I think I have everything painted on him. Unless I do the, nope, he doesn't have anything he's standing on. Oh, I forgot to, so I did not actually do the wash in this video because I did it off camera one night after doing other stuff. I was working on World Eaters and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and throw the wash on it. So you don't get to see me put on the wash, but me doing the wash for it was very subtle. It didn't take much. I just wanted it to dirty it up just a little bit. So you'll see here any second now it's going to switch to, oh, there's the there's the shade that I used for the purple. That's what I used for the carapace. So any second now, we're gonna go ahead and flip to today. So these are the two minis entirely finished. If I can get them on the screen. Come on, there you go, past me. So these look a lot better. They have a lot more white that pops out. My camera's having a pain focusing on me, so I've used my hand to focus it on every time. Look at how much better these look as comparison. They're not as dark. They don't need to be as dark. They have enough white popping. They just turned out perfect, especially to be able to whip them up 35-40 minutes. Easiest pie. I'm so happy that they turned out the way they did because I've still got so many more to paint. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye.